Why was my voice so high right there? Hello, my loves. Go on a journey with me, will ya? Go on a journey with me? Oof. First, we need to go on a journey to find a reasonable pencil because I'm really particular about my pencils. And unfortunately, I don't have a sharpener in my vicinity. So I'm probably gonna wind up using multiple pencils here. I'm just gonna do some doodling while I talk to the folks. As always, shout out to my inspiration. Specifically, shout out to those inspired and inspiring. Okay. I want to talk today. I'm gonna be running my mouth. I'm not sure how many items I have. Let me see. Okay, 7 it looks like. I want to talk about 7 things that we can do instead of ghosting our therapist. As some of you know, for those of you who don't, I am currently a therapist. And I've also been in therapy many times, right? And this question has sort of just floated through my mind at the various intervals of living and existing in life. And I think as I became a therapist, it's floated through a hell of a lot more, of course. Yeah. And like I said, with my own therapists as well, you know, because it's something that happens and we just don't, like, I've never heard anybody talk about it. I don't really, I don't necessarily connect or converse with a whole lot of therapists or follow on social media that sort of individual to see, but anyway, this is going to be a video of me rambling and doodling. If you're here for it, I'll be here for you. You know what I'm saying? My name's Amira, if I didn't say that already, or if you're not aware. Thanks so much for clicking on this video, subscribing to my channel, liking the video, sharing it, so on and so forth, all that other advertisement schmutz. So why not? Why not? Why not ghost our therapist? Side note, I'm gonna try really hard not to use the word should. I think I've expressed and explained at some other point in some other video my thoughts about surrounding that word, but just saying that's what my intention is. That doesn't mean I won't, perhaps by accident or whatever, but yeah, why not? First thing here is respect. Let's just start with that. Okay, not just being respectful of your therapist's time, the other people that are impacted by that as well. So maybe that's your therapist's family, the other people who work in the office who have some kind of responsibility, this sort of thing. Also, your own time, right? There's an expectation that both of your time will be respected. And so, yeah, you know, and some of you may even say that I am respecting my own time because I'm choosing not to go. Well, I mean, okay, you can dissect that, you know, on your own time in a different way, with depth okay? Because I think there's layers within that as well to be curious about. But just to be respectful of time. Second thing, why not to, is your therapist's livelihood, okay? For those of us who work like fee for service, which is sort of like being, not sort of like, it's you're an independent contractor, right? But you don't even have to be an independent contractor to work fee for service. You could also be an employee and work fee for service. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's a part of their livelihood, you know, whether or not you show up for your appointment, and because essentially they're providing you a service, right? There are other clients, your therapist's other clients, being respectful of them or just considerate of them. So, you know, maybe that means another client could have utilized that time slot had it been available, or another client, I don't know, in the session before you, your therapist could have, maybe they needed more time with that client, but cut it short to respect your time for that appointment slot that you didn't show up for. That sort of thing. Plenty of examples to identify there. I'm not sure what I was doing here with this part. Interesting how that came to be. Other thing I have on here, why not to, is burnout. Okay, these are the sorts of things that contribute to your therapist's burnout, which may look like a reduced empathy from them. Okay, so you're not feeling heard, you're not feeling understood, they're not curious about your experience, they're failing to gauge and understand you at a level that helps you to feel seen. Okay, reduced empathy. Also, these are the reasons why you have therapists or just providers in general who are falling asleep. Okay, oh my God. Let me tell y'all something. That was my literal first therapy experience. I can't remember how old I was. I wasn't a teenager yet. I know that much. So it had to have been probably around 12. So much of my life happened at age 12. One day you guys will hear about it or read about it. But yeah, I remember that lady falling asleep. Ma'am, if you remember me on your caseload that one time, however many years ago, I know your ass wasn't listening. Okay, which is the next thing on here. They're visibly uninterested. Like, that is a trash way to show up as a therapist. But I also fully understand how you can get to that place. Again, if you're feeling burnt out or just not accounting for your own needs. I could go down a whole list of that, but this isn't a video about burnout. This isn't a video about that. But yeah, those are the reasons why not. Okay. Now, what can you do instead? What can you do instead of ghosting your therapist? That felt like an ask the audience question. See somebody out there raising their hand. It might be on my list. Let me see. Okay, so the first thing I have here is be curious. First thing you can do instead of ghosting your therapist. Be curious. Explore your own feelings. This card's about to look crazy, B. Explore your options as well. Right? Don't make an impulsive decision that is ultimately going to harm you in the end. Wow, I don't know what kind of spaceship this turned out to be. Oof, my brain could not compute that. Consider what you want to do. All right, again, explore all of your options. Don't cut yourself short. This reminds me of a real, this is honestly an example that I see often with children and adolescents, specifically neurodivergent children and adolescents. It's like, if they don't like a teacher, or their teacher is disrespectful or not understanding, whatever the reasoning might be, I was getting ready to cuss. They will, now I gotta figure out how to say it. Fuck it. They will they will fuck themselves to just prove the point, just to have that opposition, you know what I mean? But like, at the end of the day, it's your grade that's dropping. It's your grade that's dropping. So if you are making progress in therapy, or you will be unstable without therapy or without that support to even transition to another person, or this is somebody who's prescribing your medication and you don't have a backup plan, or the very many other options that it could be, ultimately the decision that you're making, if it's going to be something that messes with your livelihood, let's explore the options. Let's just take a minute, take a breath, and see what else could be done. You know what I'm saying? Consider if something happened, you know, do you feel better? Do you feel worse? Is there a cultural barrier that's happening? Does it have to do with the time of the appointment, whether that's the frequency or the actual time? And again, is it a possibility to transfer? So be curious. That's number one. Be curious. Why is it that I'm considering ghosting my therapist in the first place? Because that is for you. That's your own growth. Outside of that particular therapeutic relationship, what's happening within me? Número dos, communicate with another staff member if possible. So again, I mean, unless this is a therapist who, you know, they do everything on their own, they don't have any other employees or co-workers, they don't have a supervisor, you know what I'm saying, or the front office person, the HR person, the payroll, like somebody, you know. You know, you can do that. Talk to somebody else, call them on the phone, send a message, send an email, call and hang up. I don't know. But you can communicate with another staff member if it's possible. One of the options here. Número tres. Call after hours and leave a voicemail. And I wrote that this one is risky. Which it is. Because you don't know unless you do know who's responsible for that voicemail. Like, is this your particular provider's direct line? Does anybody else have access to that? This sort of thing you want to be conscientious of, but still an option, right? Now, it's also risky because you calling after hours could trigger an emergency on their end. I put this one under a particular perspective, if you will. You know, I've had some jobs where I had my own cell phone. I've had some jobs where you had no phone, other jobs where it's you know, phones that are in the office that other people have access to your voicemail still, or other jobs where it's not even an actual phone, but only you have access to that voicemail and that phone line. And to some degree, I mean, it's technology, so who knows who really has access to it. But outside of access, like I said, it could also trigger an emergency. If your provider is somebody who works out in the community especially, right, then they probably aren't going to have that phone turned off or turned down, you know, like somebody else might, because they may have more emergencies like that they have to get involved in if they live in that type of area. And so in that case, they may actually answer the phone when you call after hours. Just something to be mindful of. Número cuatro. Send a text, email, portal message, letter. This sort of goes back to number 2, communicating with another staff member. There are many different ways to communicate anything at all, ever. And so, yeah, again, depending upon the boundaries that have been set or that are clear, if you will, you have other options there as to what can be done. So yeah. If it's a text, I'm always for that one. You know, that's much faster than an email or a portal message. Look, even a letter, like multiple ways. Anyway, number 5, 5. Determine planning, organizing, and priorities. I don't know what in the world. So number 5, things to do instead of ghosting your therapist. So I sort of went into this one, determine planning, organizing, and priorities. I sort of went into this one back when we went over number 1. Oh, yeah. It's my brain's kicking in. My neurodivergent brain is trying to kick in. But yeah, this goes back to what your priorities are, what you need, what's important to you in your life and treatment and mental wellness, and really just making the best decision for you. And also, this also goes in or taps into treatment planning as well. You know, if you're seeing them once a week or twice a week or bi-weekly, whatever it is, just having a conversation about that. All right, that's number 5. Number 6, número 6. Things to do instead of ghosting your therapist, because that's me. Number 6 says advocate for your perceived progress. Yes, darling. Advocate for yourself. I had a situation once. I didn't expect to tell any stories, but I had a situation once where I was seeing a minor and they didn't necessarily want to continue. We talked about that transparently, candidly. I responded appropriately. I thought that was the end. But the guardians did not agree. And honestly, the conclusion of that was that minor advocating for themselves was literally it was literally the gold mine of their progress. Like, that was the exemplification of their progress at that point. Such a beautiful thing. Again, guardians didn't necessarily agree with that, but that was just, something that they were working through as a family. So, but yeah, advocate for your perceived progress. If you feel like, I'm getting kind of tired of this, or I feel like I've made some progress here, can we slow down on this topic or in general? Which leads to number 7. which is the last one here. Number 7, 7 reasons why, or 7 things you can do instead of ghosting your therapist. 7 things you can do. Number 7 is express your own burnout. It's okay to feel burnt out from therapy. Therapy is a lot of work. Putting that much work and intention into yourself is a lot of work. Especially depending upon what it is that you're working on or working through. You know, are you working through childhood trauma and you have consecutively for the last I don't know how many years? That's a lot of work. Although it is obviously what's the word I want to say? Beneficial? That doesn't completely convey my sentiments, but it's the closest thing I have right now. Yeah, although it is obviously beneficial, it's still a lot of work, and it can leave you drained or overwhelmed, you know, and then working even harder to remain balanced with that drain and overwhelm. It's not to say that you can't balance, you know, your independent responsibilities in life in addition to going to therapy. Obviously, that's what you have to do. Purely saying that sometimes the balance in that is taking a break from therapy because you're burnt out. Okay? And this is, of course, contingent upon what it is that you're working through, what level of risk you pose to yourself or society or the people around you or whatever. But yeah. That's my 7 reasons. I'm sure there are more. Wow, I only used 1 pencil. Look at me. Look at me. I'm sure there are more, but that's just what I had jotted down. If you have some others, I'd be curious about it, actually. If you're open to it, share with me in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video as always, and yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. See you soon.